Hi everyone, welcome back to My Parenting Way. My name's Katie and today I'm going to give you an update on Aidan, who is now 10 months old. Now, he's not in the video today, he's actually upstairs napping, and that's because trying to get him on film now is almost impossible. He does not sit down for any length of time for love nor money. So I thought I'd make the video and I'll include loads of different clips for him so you have an idea of what he's like and what he's doing and how big he is. So although he is not quite walking yet, he's almost there. I don't think it's going to be very long at all. He is cruising really well on all the furniture, and he will quite often just balance with one hand and walk by himself. He doesn't really need much support. He either has the balance down, so he's able to stand for, a good 10, sometimes 20 seconds without anything, or he can walk with his moving his feet, but the combination of the balance and the feet moving is just not working at the moment. So I think he's trying to develop that. He walks really well with a walker. So we've got a little VTech, it's like a little tripod on wheels, and he'll just go around and he'll clock it from across the room, shuffle up to it, and then pull himself up by himself and just walk around with it. Happy as Larry. If he gets stuck, it's really nice actually, because my daughter watches him and she sees him get stuck and she'll move the walker out the way. So that can kill a good few minutes just watching them roam around the kitchen or whatever. So that's quite nice. He's absolutely obsessed with anything electrical or any kind of switches, any doorknobs, remote controls, basically all the things that he's not really allowed to play with. He could literally be chest deep in toys of all different sorts, and he will still clock the remote control from across the room and make a beeline for it. And there'll be nothing that stops him. The boy is strong. So he's also now understanding the relationship between language and action. So what we find he does now is if he reaches for something, so he reaches his hand or points and says ta, 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 it means he wants it. So he'll again reach for the key or the remote control across the room or whatever, and he will point and say ta. However, this does have its downsides, is because now he gets really frustrated when he doesn't get his way. So either I will take something away from him, or I will say no when he points to something and says ta that he's not allowed to have. He gets really frustrated and he throws these little mini tantrums, and he bunches his fists up and screams his head off, and it's cute to a degree, but it's getting a little bit tiring now, especially as he doesn't have the language or the understanding to know why we're saying no. So just saying no all the time or bringing him away, it must be infuriating for a baby, and he's definitely showing this. We are using basic baby sign language to try and convey what we are doing. So it's mostly around food, to be honest. So the basic ones are food, more, which is either this or this, depending on what kind of sign language you're doing. But we are using this one. And when he claps his hands in the high chair, it means he wants more of whatever it is that we're giving him, which is handy to know. Obviously, there's thank you. So every time that I take something from him, I'll say thank you. And he understands this now means I'm going to take away whatever it is I'm going to take away from him. So he has a better of an understanding about that. And when we are finished our food or there's no more of what he wants, I show my hands and say, oh, gone. Or I will remove the thing that he has, put it away and say, oh, gone. And it means that whatever he has is gone. There's no more of it. And again, hopefully, I'm hoping this will, better his understanding and make him less frustrated. They do say that babies who sign have better vocabulary and higher IQ and all the rest of it. As I said, I'm only doing the basics, just to make him less frustrated, and it does work to some degree. He is still getting a little bit frustrated, but hopefully in time, if we keep using these signs, then he will get to understand them, he'll be able to use them himself, and there'll be less arguments and less screaming. He has recently had cold after cold after cold. And I think this is because lockdown in the UK at the moment of filming is gradually easing, and we are seeing a lot more people, and we are going to baby groups, and obviously there's going to be germs that are going to be spread within that time. But because we've been under such a tight lockdown and so many restrictions for so long in his life, you know, he's not really seen anyone in his short little life. All those germs that babies usually get exposed to are now all of a sudden coming from all different angles all at once, and he's just had cold after cold after cold. However, this does mean he's really gone off his food. I don't know whether it's a developmental thing or whether it is because of the cold, but he just isn't eating very well at all at the moment. And the strange thing is as well is that he is really switched on to sweet things as well, which is a shame because I really tried to expose him to loads of vegetables, loads of savoury things, really early on to make sure he didn't develop a sweet tooth and you know, favour sweet things over vegetables. So I've really tried hard, but at the moment it's impossible. You know, broccoli ends up on the floor, green beans end up on the floor, basically anything green ends up on the floor. He does eat sweet potatoes and that's about it. Or otherwise it's just all the berries, strawberries, blueberries, raspberries. It's honestly, I get them out of the fridge and he gets so excited when he sees them. So those are going down fine. So it's not all food that he's rejecting. So I'm just going to keep going as we're going. I will still expose him to the vegetables and make sure he eats as much as he can. I will keep giving him berries and things just because he loves them so much, and they do have excellent vitamins in them, and so as long as they keep him full, I don't really mind. The other thing we've noticed is that he loves to feed himself. So I think part of the reason why he's become more fussy with eating is because he is wanting to learn how to feed himself with a spoon, and he is really experimenting with that, and he gets so furious if you do it for him, which is understandable when you've got someone who's like shoveling food into your face, you know, and you realize that you can do it yourself. It must get really annoying. So I can understand why he's getting a bit frustrated, but that's not helping me at the moment, who just wants to get food in him so he's nice and full up for the night or the day or whatever. So we're really working hard to try and develop these skills and not get too frustrated, taking the time to show him what to do and everything like that. I am still exclusively breastfeeding him, which I'm really pleased about at 10 months. I didn't think I was going to get this far, certainly with him because he's such a big boy and he's taken to the bottle really well. It's not like my daughter who just wouldn't take the bottle at all. So I'm really pleased that he's able to take the bottle. He is still on 4 feeds a day. I am trying to limit that down to 3, but it will depend on whether he wakes up during the night. I also still have milk blebs, which are like little nipple ulcers from him not latching properly, that have not seemed to be able to heal no matter how many different ways I try and latch him and how many creams I put on. It's very frustrating. So I think that, you know, realistically I should start thinking about maybe weaning him off, but I'm going to keep going for as long as I can and as long as it feels right for both of us. The other thing about breastfeeding as well is that Aidan now has 4 teeth. So he has 2 on the bottom and 2 at the top. So he looks like a different baby with teeth. It's so funny. But with teeth comes the biting, and as any breastfeeding mother with babies with teeth would know, sometimes you do get the odd bite or clamp down, and it will make you swear and bring a tear to your eye. It's very painful. One thing we notice he does a lot at the moment as well is that he is getting frustrated about being on the floor. So although he is able to cruise, you know, to the best of his ability around the furniture at his height, he's realizing that there's a whole new world to see that is higher than him. So what he'll do is he'll crawl up to my legs and pull on my legs and basically cry and cry and cry, or moan and whinge and grab on my legs no matter where I am to be picked up. So the moment I'll pick him up, he'll automatically stop crying and smile and look around and point and go ta 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 ta, because he wants everything. Now that is in his a line of sight, which he didn't have when he was on the floor, and he gets really excited about this because it's a whole new world for him up there. And he's heavy. This boy is a heavy boy, so it's not like I can hold him for any length of time and then keep doing what I'm doing, because I have to put him down. In regards to toys that he likes to play with, he likes anything with buttons or switches at the moment. This is why like things like mobile phones and remote controls are just, he loves. He also is obsessed with balls, bouncy balls, or any balls of any shape or size. He absolutely loves them. And I think he does this thing where he will pick up a ball and he will get on his knees, he'll reach up as high as he can on his knees and then slam whatever it is in his hand, usually a ball, down on the floor. And I think it's to see if it will bounce, or also to see what kind of noise it makes. Another keen favourite we have at the moment is also pots and pans with wooden spoons. And I think he's got this from my daughter, who's taken up playing mud pies in our garden, because the weather's a little bit nicer now, and she likes to go outside and put water and mud and bits of leaves and rocks and things, and she makes her own concoction. And I think he's been watching her. So, you know, if I need any kind of 5 minutes of doing something, I will put a series of pots and pans in front of him, and he'll either stir it with a wooden spoon, or he'll turn it around and he'll whack the bottom of it and make a hell of a noise. I mean, I don't mind too much because it keeps him, you know, relatively out of my way for 5 minutes whilst I'm doing the cooking, but I feel sorry for my neighbours where it's probably a little bit loud. In regards to sleep, he is finally sleeping through the night. I think that might be because of the cold though, because he's absolutely riddled with cold, and I think his body's trying to recover. But I'm loving it. It's from 7:30 till 7 in the morning, and yeah, it's wonderful. He is also having 2 naps a day, and that can range from around an hour and a half to 2 hours. I try not to leave him to sleep any longer than that because it does affect the rest of the day, but that's my crack on and do stuff around the house time. So quite often I'll, you know, clean or tidy, although you'd never think it today with the amount of mess on the floor over there, but that's the reality of filming with children. So how I'm getting on is another question. I'm going back to work in 6 weeks' time, and I am very nervous about it. I don't particularly want to go back. I think I'll have a different mindset when I finally go and just crack on and do it. But I think the anticipation of going is building up now, and it's actually worse than just going to work. My working world is a very different one from when I left. Obviously COVID-19 has happened since, and the medical world has been turned on its head as a result. So the way I work and where I work and seeing patients and all that kind of thing is completely different from when I left, and I'm very nervous about that. I am going to do a separate video about me going back to work and all my thoughts, so keep your eye out for that one. Also, my skin is horrible. I mean, like, I have got spot after spot after spot, and it's, if anyone's got any advice on postnatal skincare, I'd love you to tell me, because I've been using so much stuff and it's been awful. I think this is obviously my hormones going mad, because I'm like spotty on my chest and I'm spotty on my neck, so I'm spotty all over. It's not just my face or the products I'm using on my face. I think it's just hormones, because obviously my body's trying to get back to normal after having a baby. My breastfeeding journey is now coming to an end, or is you know, my supply is a lot lower, so all my hormones are being regulated again through that. But it's not helping my skin. It's insane. I'm also getting these really annoying little hairs. I don't know if you can see them. There's one there, look, from where my all my hair fell out after having Aidan, and now I think they're growing back a little bit. So I'm getting all these little funny wispy hairs, which are quite hilarious. So there you go. There's my baby update on Aidan, who is now 10 months old. Please leave a comment if you want, and please hit the subscribe button to see how we're all getting on. And we hope to see you next time.